Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Hendriks Experience Podcast, episode number 19. And tonight, we are very fortunate to have a special guest, and that is Rachel Braithwaite. And Rachel, you have a big role in St. Catharines.
I do. Yeah, I'm the executive director for the St. Catharines Downtown Association. Love my job. Love that we're the designated urban growth center for the Niagara region. We're the biggest downtown, and we're the biggest economic driver in the heartbeat of our city.
It's great. You almost sound like a politician, but you pack a lot in right there, right?
I know.
You've said this a few times, I think. Yes. So thank you for being here tonight.
Pleasure.
It is a pleasure to have you. And the downtown of St. Catharines always makes it up to the big topics list, right? Whenever there's the conversations going on about the downtown. But before we dive into all that, I would like to know a little bit more about yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, what got you to being the executive director of the St. Catharines Downtown Association.
Yeah, for sure. Where do you want to start? No, I'm just joking.
Were you born and raised in St. Catharines, Niagara?
No, I'm from England originally.
From England?
Yeah, so a little ways away. And so I moved to the Niagara region about 3-4 years ago now.
From England?
No, I
lived in other places as well?
spotted myself around Canada a fair bit. Well, Ontario, really. So pre-Niagara region, I was in Hamilton, downtown Hamilton, worked at a BIA there. And then house prices, we all know. Mm-hmm. You may know something a bit more than me.
Yes, a little bit.
So house prices brought me to the Niagara region. And I was still commuting back and forth to my previous role. And then this position came forward, and I threw my hat in the ring, and I was very lucky to be selected.
Fantastic. And yes, about real estate, everyone thinks and feels, and it's almost more of the feel. They see it, they think it, they feel it. Prices are so high in the St. Catharines, Niagara area. Mm-hmm. But I tell you, just drive 20 minutes down the road, 30 minutes down the road, you start looking at 50% higher.
Big time.
75, 100%. You want to go to Toronto, double, triple, right?
Yeah.
People say, well, that's Toronto. Yes, it is Toronto. But there is a stark difference still. We are still fortunate. It may not feel that way, but we are still fortunate that we are more affordable than a lot of other places.
Absolutely.
But enough about me tonight in real estate. This is about you in the downtown. So I want to jump in there. So how long have you been the executive director then?
Almost 3 years now.
3 years. Yeah. Fantastic. And it really does seem and feel that you love what you do.
Oh, I do. You know, it's a joke in the business improvement area world in that after you're 2 years in the BIA world, you're a lifer, is how we say it, because
you can't get out.
You can't. And because BIAs are such a unique organization. There's no schooling specifically for BIAs and working in them. There's no, course for you to take. There's nothing talked about in high school about go work in a BIA. So you really kind of land there by chance sometimes. And for me, I was very community focused in Hamilton, and that's what got me into the BIA. Is the businesses saw the impacts of some of the things I wanted to do and the benefits on the economic revivalry with that. And that's how I got in. So it's funny, a lot of people stumble into the BIA world, but they never leave, right?
Interesting.
Yeah.
So in Hamilton, what would you say was your biggest success in Hamilton when you were in that role?
So we did a big festival. I used to work at the BIA on Barton Street, which has had its fair shares of challenges and negative perceptions. And I lived in the community as well. And I was in a community meeting and I said, someone needs to do something positive on Barton Street.
Oh boy, that's right there. You say that and guess what's happening? How about you?
Yeah. So we did. And it was a group effort, but definitely spearheaded by myself. And we did a big community festival that grew after a couple years to 25,000 people coming out.
Amazing.
And I just saw it clicked, that pride that people got back in their neighborhood and that joy and that love. And people would come to the festival and say, I've, never been down to Barton Street for 20 years, would never have dreamed of coming. I came for this event and wow, it's actually, improved.
Yeah. That's one of the challenges with areas that get a reputation, a name out there. It's hard to turn that off.
It is.
There's certain parts of St. Catharines that have that same thing. And you go there and you're like, wow, this isn't what they really talk about. This isn't so bad. some of them are challenging, right?
Absolutely.
So before we get into a million positives about downtown, let's talk about the big white elephant in the room, because we have some challenges here in our city, right?
Yeah.
And what would you say from your perspective, what would you say or acknowledge that are our biggest challenges in the downtown area?
I'm only doing one.
There might be a couple, right?
Just a couple.
Just a couple.
But you know what, going off what you just said about perception is sometimes the hardest thing to change. So that is definitely a hurdle, which we're changing, right? Through positive events. We're doing a lot more cultural events because that's really where we feel the need is. There's obviously economic challenges and societal challenges that every downtown is facing with regards to homelessness and mental health and drug addiction that we're seeing on our downtown, just like every downtown is.
Yeah, I think that is one thing that people think, oh, our city, this is the problem in our city. No, it's a problem pretty much any city.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Anywhere you get start to, have a population growth, a sizable city, even small towns too, right? Same challenge. But yeah, the drugs to the mental health is the biggest impactor of that homelessness situation. And I know a lot of people out there, community, it's always like you're looking for someone to just wave that magic wand, make it go away, and then being critical. What are you doing to improve things? You get that. Is that a constant battle for you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot of people that think it's a quick fix or they have a solution. But unfortunately, when you look at it, it's not really a solution. It's, that's been tried. It didn't work, or that's not legal for us to try, depending on what the solution they suggest is. So it is a challenging one because, as I said, there's no quick fix, and it is very much a generational thing too sometimes, right? Like once you're in poverty, it's extremely hard to get out of poverty, or you're in that mental health state or addiction state. It's very hard to break that cycle. And so those are some of the challenges that we have. We're working really closely, though, with the region and the municipality with regards to, trying to improve the safety in the downtown and support those with housing needs. So I'm very grateful for the work that both the municipality and the region is doing. There's a new development coming just outside of the downtown, actually, that I think will be a positive to help.
Which one would you be referring to?
320 Geneva. So
Okay, yes.
with supportive housing,
Across from the Fairview?
Yes. Yeah. I'm a big believer in supportive housing. I think that's a model that can actually have some difference.
And for those who don't know, what is supportive housing?
Good
what
question.
What does that mean?
Yes. And it varies, right? So supportive housing is typically, what looks like a rental apartment, but there's staff on site that provide supports. So it could be health supports. It could be council support. It could be getting them connected to get their bank accounts or their licenses or their, that kind of stuff. So that is key to me, because you can't just put someone in housing and say, okay, you've lived on the streets for all your life. Here's an apartment.
Here's a room. Good luck.
That
doesn't work.
No.
Right? Because that sounds like the easy, quick fix, but it's not. It's way more. It's very complicated.
Big time.
And along with complication is very expensive.
Oh, totally.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's another challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about, whose fault is it? Whose responsibility is it? The city, municipal, region, provincial, federal. And I guess, to me, I look mostly to provincial, that it's a provincial issue, and then federal, still somewhat on the city, but your hands are tied to so much that you can do, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, I am pretty lucky. I try to kind of spread my roots pretty far to have the biggest impact. So I actually sit on the OBIA, the Ontario BIA Association board, and chair their advocacy committee, which gives me access to MPs and MPPs to advocate for.
Yes. So sometimes you have to find your ways to work through the system to speak to the right people and get your supporters, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. And the ones that make those decisions are your connectors to positive change.
Absolutely.
So speaking of positive things now, because there's lots of positive too, And I'd like to talk about a little bit of fun. Now, you may not know so much because you haven't been here a long time, but you know that our downtown obviously has been there for a
long
very,
time.
very long time. Do you have people come and tell you stories about when I was young? Do you remember such or such a store and such and such a store? Like,
Absolutely.
people love memories.
Nostalgia, yeah.
Nostalgia.
Yes.
That's a
Yeah.
perfect word for it. Nostalgia of how downtown, how it once was.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's fun.
It is, and it's funny, we were doing historical walks. So my name for them is Snacks and Historical Facts, but it didn't stick. For some reason, my marketing director didn't go for it.
No,
but
okay. I have to say, fair enough.
But the tours are going on and they're sold out every time. And we get people,
Amazing.
we did them last year and we have people come from Mississauga just for the tours.
Now, are they coming for the tours from Mississauga because they were from here, or they're just curious about our city? Like, what is it that attracts them
Yeah.
to our downtown?
Yeah, they said, we've been traveling around to different downtowns because downtowns are a good center for people like tourists to go to find the heartbeat of the city. So, they basically have been traveling to different towns across Canada, mostly southwestern Ontario, to explore. And a historical walking tour, paired obviously with some snacks and coffee, is a really great way to kind of see the boots on the ground, get to know that community. And so they really enjoyed it. So
Awesome.
Yeah, we sell out and we've got 3 more coming up this summer. So
it's a regular thing each summer into the fall, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, in partnership with the St. Catharines Museum.
Awesome. And so other positive things happening downtown. If I look back a few years, I think our biggest catalyst for change in downtown St. Catharines was the Meridian Center and the First Ontario Performing Arts Center, which I love going to on occasion.
Absolutely.
And those and the Brock Center for the Arts. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
I think I feel like I'm saying it incorrectly there.
The full name is
Is
the
the
Marilyn
Marilyn
Iwalker School of Fine and Performing Arts.
School of Fine and Performing Arts. Thank you for that, because that's a lot. That's a mouthful too, and it's hard to remember all that. So we have a part of Brock University right in our downtown core as well.
Fantastic, yeah.
And when the Ministry of Transportation came to our downtown, that was pre those other things, and then the updated bus terminal, things like that. Like, it really was the catalyst of change. And what I saw, I've moved our real estate team into downtown. I was at Lake and Carlton Plaza there for just about forever. And then in September 2020, something happened around 2020. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, COVID happened. And tell us a little bit about COVID. I know the impacts a lot on businesses in general, but I feel like it was like an extra hit on downtown. And tell us a little bit about what happened during that time in the downtown area.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, COVID really hit everyone, not going to lie. And I'm not going to say prioritize certain things, but I think in our downtown, we really felt it harder than most downtowns, if I'm honest with you, because we didn't have the residential density to support our businesses when offices closed. And that really was hard on our businesses. So we're really excited to see some new developments, residential developments come to our downtown. Obviously a lot of the offices too closed during COVID. So not only did we have, the residential not there, we had them working from home, and then we had the offices actually closed. So the businesses almost had a continual COVID hit, if you know what I mean.
It lingered much
really
longer
did.
than in some areas or some situations, right?
Exactly.
I am happy to share and say, and I think, well, this, that, I am working with the Adlick family on their Carlisle rental building downtown.
Yes, very excited.
17, 18 stories high. And that will bring, as you mentioned, about the residential component, right? And we're finally able to see that transformation begin.
Absolutely.
Because I think the city for a long time has we need more people downtown. You need the volume of people downtown.
Yeah.
And I will say this, I still get some naysayers about like, oh, you're destroying the downtown. How are you destroying the downtown? You need people. Like, this isn't a big economic wheel that keeps the world turning.
Exactly.
And it keeps our Ontario turning and the region turning and the city turning and downtown turning.
Yeah.
and it really is needed. You said it yourself. We need a higher density of residential population in downtown.
Yeah.
So I'm very fortunate that I'm working with the Adlick family, Kelly and Nick and family, and I'm also representing Elite Developments at 88 James at 88 James Project, right on James Street, of course. And that's another going to be a spectacular building.
Absolutely.
Highest residential building in the entire Niagara region. And that brings another 250-ish living units to the downtown.
So needed. Yeah.
So needed. And we're excited about being a part of that.
Yeah.
You know, our real estate team is right around the corner there. We're at the corner of King and Carlisle, right beside East and Wind.
Yeah.
So it's always nice. We get to work downtown because when you're a realtor, you're kind of living.
Absolutely.
You know, it's kind of our job, like living night and day. So we love working. I will tell you, and I want to share that. I want to be sure to share that with you. We love the downtown.
Thanks.
We're supportive of the downtown, and we do believe in the downtown. And it is only going to get better and better.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So I know it's been a struggle. My fiance, Heather, she did have a home decor store downtown. Retail is a challenge downtown.
It is.
Because, again, of volume of people. So you see that. Tell us a little bit about the configuration of the businesses. Most people know, but for those who don't, can you share a little bit about the makeup of downtown and what businesses are currently encompassing our downtown?
For sure. Yeah. So, you know, we've got, as you mentioned, very strong entertainment districts in our downtown, both with the PAC, the Meridian Center. We've got 2 sports teams. We've got the Warehouse. We've got the Niagara Artist Center. So a lot of entertainment. And obviously, with entertainment, everybody needs food.
And,
so,
and a little beverage or two along the way?
Maybe. So definitely there's a high number of restaurants. And, you know, we are so lucky that we have award-winning restaurants in our downtown.
The quality is upping every year,
Fantastic.
right? Every year it's getting better and better.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
people, if they think too much about the past and what there maybe was, they maybe haven't visited downtown
Absolutely.
and really explored all these awesome new restaurants that are downtown.
And they're hidden gems almost because, you know, they're not, and I don't mean to throw businesses under the bus here, but they're not the chain restaurants, right? You're not going to, we don't have a McDonald's in our downtown.
Right.
But that's a good thing, right?
Yes.
Because we've got the unique experiences that are going to be memorable, that are going to be, you know, that special thing you can do with your loved one or your family and get a really unique experience. You're not going to get anywhere else. Like, that's fantastic.
You can get a franchise restaurant everywhere, anywhere, and I'm not going to knock them. But yes, exactly what you said. It's a different experience.
It is.
You know, love a new experience, love, you know, someone that you want to share in your life, and you come down there and you can enjoy an evening out, a date night, whatever.
Absolutely.
Just come downtown.
Yeah.
And so that's been great. So,
Yes. And sorry, I know I went off kilter, distracted down restaurant lane.
no, that's cool.
But we do also have a good number of retail in our downtown, which we're very grateful for. We have a lot of vintage stores in our downtown. We also have a lot of specialty retail, you know, with sustainability focuses as well. We also have a lot of services. We've got a high number of hairdressers. We've got a lot of offices and lawyer buildings. And we're really lucky. Our downtown is one of the few that still has the majority of the financial institutions still located within the downtown.
So you're saying, because I'm not too familiar with that, you're saying a lot of the banks and other downtowns have kind of cut down,
Totally.
right? And
Yeah.
they're not downtown.
No.
But we have CIBC.
Yep.
We have RBC.
Yep.
We have Bank of Montreal.
Yep.
We have Scotiabank,
Yep.
TD. Like,
Yep.
yeah, we got all big five are right down there.
Totally. Yeah.
So you're saying you don't find that too often in downtowns?
No, often, and I don't know of many downtowns that still have a financial institution, never mind 5. So that's something that's very unique for us, and I'm very grateful for. Our banks are very invested in our downtown too. They often will sponsor events and different community groups. So that is key.
Yeah.
That connection.
Sometimes we kind of knock them because they are very wealthy, these banks, let's just say.
True.
But, and they put a name on a building, Meridian, First
do.
Ontario.
They
Good on them. They do contribute back to their communities.
Absolutely.
And I just like to come from a place of gratitude and go, you know what I mean? At least they're putting money back into our community. So good on them for that. You may not like their service fees sometimes, but good on them for that they do come back and they do put more money back into our economy and into our community. And citizens,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
So moving forward, I think it's this kind of like a layering effect,
Mm-hmm.
right? We had to get through COVID, challenging time. Then we need to get the people back into the office buildings a little more.
Big time.
And we started seeing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
We started seeing that at, help me out here, in 80 King Street.
Yeah, with Accenture. Yeah, one of the
Accenture,
biggest
thank you.
Businesses in St. Catharines office space is located in our downtown. And that's phenomenal. I mean, our offices are in 80 King, and it's hilarious because you can see the shift times, because it's just like this onslaught of people coming out of elevators. So it's really rewarding and nice to see that, right?
The people, the activity.
Yeah.
And because a lot of people don't realize that about these people working in downtown, right? How many people work at Accenture?
You're asking the tough questions here.
Okay.
It's at least several thousand, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
an incredible number.
Yeah.
Right? And so are most of them back now? Half, like what percentage are back?
You know,
working in the
Accenture was
office?
one of the few that actually I believed needed people on site during COVID for some of it. Not all of their workers by far, but because they're also a call center, they needed staff on site to be able to provide that service. Obviously, social distancing and doing everything legally, but so they've never been completely closed, if you know what I mean. But they do, I believe they're fully back now, and they're pretty. I also want to say they recently expanded, so
Yes.
that's exciting to hear.
Absolutely.
You know, and we have XL North is another great example of a co-work space that's
Yes.
very high-end co-work
Great
space.
building, nice people running it there. It's actually where our sales center is that we're going to be that we're opening have running at 488 James, part of that XL North building. It's a great location.
Yeah, and they're full, right? There's
They're expanding.
Lots.
They're expanding into
They are.
one more floor that they're going to be building up more office
which
space.
is fantastic.
And that's a new trend today is people working partly from home, partly off site, and bringing their business into that shared workspace.
Mm-hmm.
So that's amazing. Who are our other employers, would you say, downtown from an office standpoint?
Well, the MTO building, of
Yes.
course.
Ministry of Transportation,
Yeah. And
right
I
on
don't
St.
think
Paul.
they're completely back yet, so would love to see that transition.
I heard they're about half back, so to speak, half time,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So we'd like to get them back
We would.
more
We
into the
would.
downtown, because realistically, yes, they come and they're spending some dollars downtown, visiting restaurants.
Absolutely.
We do our best to support those restaurants, and that's
appreciate it.
and again that beverage or two downtown. I was at the Merchant Ale House the other night for dinner, and one beer. That's all I had. One
Of
one. You know that
course.
blueberry. Oh yeah, that's good.
You're
Blueberry
getting your
stuff is
fruit,
good.
So you're good.
That's right. I'm getting my fruit. Yes, it's all good. So what do you see coming next for downtown? Right. So we have the office. We have the people coming back. The residential component, we talked
Yes.
about, that is huge for our downtown. You need that volume of people, and that will trigger new investment in new
Exactly.
businesses, correct?
Yeah, yeah. And I think, too, there's a real big desire right now for good green jobs. So, you know, there's a big push with regards to sustainability initiatives. I think the younger generation are really a lot more focused on our environment. You know, we just did a big event called Go Green, where we saw hundreds of people come out, including, for example, a person that came from Leamington for his birthday to do a walking tour with 12 Mile Creek with us because he wanted to get out into nature, and he came all the way here to do that.
Nice, beautiful.
So, and we did a big tree planted almost 50 trees at the trailhead there. And we did a big Earth Day cleanup recently with over 75 people volunteering. So people are really wanting to get better connected with nature and with the environment. So I personally envision some of our empty office spaces filling up with those good green jobs, because we all know St. Catharines is the Garden City. So let's you know, that's our
bring
that's
that
our
back.
name.
Yes.
Let's get there.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Bring
I
that
think
back.
people are ready to get there.
Yeah, I think, you know what I mean? That's fallen to the wayside a little bit. But whenever something happens, you have a challenge like COVID, different things.
Yep.
That also means opportunity.
Totally.
And as I mentioned before, I'm a big believer in the downtown core and the opportunities that are coming. And I tell people, like, you won't recognize downtown in 5-10 years from now.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Opportunities are there for living, investment, and enjoying. Come downtown.
So much.
enjoy the core, right?
Totally. There's so much to do. You're never going to be bored. There's, restaurants galore. There's retail galore. There's something for every age. Like it really is special. And, our farmers market is spectacular.
I was just going to say in the market.
Yeah.
Come down there. That's Saturdays
and Thursdays.
right?
Yeah.
For anybody who's not familiar with that, right there in King Street.
Yeah.
Right? Just across from where you work at 80 King,
Yeah.
down the street from here, 145 King. It's right there. It's just a nice place to, escape to and something different.
It is. And
Get out of the mall. I know we got to support the malls too. There's people here that are going to watch this. They're like, well, I work at the mall. You got to support the malls too. Yes. Outlet Mall, other malls, Penn Center. Love the Penn Center too. But diversified. Check it out. Explore.
And there's
right?
something unique too. Our downtown is very lucky that we have the 12 Mile Creek access right on our downtown. So you can go and get connected with nature, do an actual loop walk around 12 Mile Creek, and go for dinner or lunch in one of our restaurants.
Yeah, I think that's something that nobody really, or very little people think about.
Yeah, it's a huge.
So that is one of your responsibilities, of the Downtown Business Association. What are your core responsibilities in promotion? Like how is it, tell everybody a little bit about how it works.
Totally. So a BIA is under a local board under the municipality. So that's
BIA standing
BIA
for
Business Improvement Area, which is very confusing because I know our name is actually St. Catharines Downtown Association, but we're a BIA. Very, very confusing. So basically,
we'll work on that for the marketing department. Yes.
So the way we're funded basically is by our small businesses. So rather than the city doesn't pay us, funds are collected from commercial property owners and their tenants within our set geographical area, which is roughly Ontario to Geneva, St. Paul through to Church.
Can we just recap that and just give everyone a moment to just visualize those borders?
Yes. Ontario
Street to the west.
Yes. All the way over to Geneva.
Geneva Street to the east.
St. Paul
to the south.
And please your dream directions. And then Church to the north.
Church to the north. Okay. So not between Church and Lake, Montebello Park is not part of your area.
No.
Okay. So Church, St. Paul, Ontario, and Geneva.
Yes.
That's the core of the core.
You got it.
Yes.
Yeah. That's to us our downtown. So that's our little bubble, so to speak, that we really focus on. So that's why you'll see things like banners and planters and enhanced beautification, and our events are hosted there, and our marketing is focused on the businesses there because they're the ones at the end of the day that are paying for that service, right? And so in terms of what our responsibilities or a mandate is, legally through the Municipal Act, our mandate is to enhance the beautification of our downtown. We do a lot more than that. So we have basically 4 pillars. The 4 pillars are marketing communications. So we have a very strong social following. And then another pillar is streetscape and sustainability. So very focused on, the trees we just planted. We just added a whole bunch of new planters into the east end of St. Paul Street. So a big focus on trees and beautification of our streets and accessibility of our main streets. And then our other pillar is events. So we do numerous events throughout the year, throughout our downtown. Often, we're seeing a big interest and demand in cultural events because that's something very popular and often a gap in what is provided. So we're helping to fill that. And then our other pillar is advocacy. So, as mentioned previously with me chairing the advocacy committee through OBIA, a natural pillar is advocating for our small businesses.
Right. So advocating through the political channels to get more funds
absolutely
down into our core as well.
So we push for infrastructure funding because we know that infrastructure is a bit of a challenge in our downtown, and it's a big ticket item.
No, explain a little bit about that. What do you mean by infrastructure downtown? What are you looking for there?
Sidewalks that are fully accessible, don't have, areas in them that need paved, that kind of thing. And the city is doing its best. The city has a large infrastructure deficit, so it is a challenge, right? And I know they're cautious of increasing taxes too much, that whole challenge. So they can only do so much each year.
Yeah, it's a constant battle because everybody wants more, but we don't want to pay more.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's a constant
Yeah.
battle in that regard, right?
So, but James Street, they just redid our sidewalks on James Street. They look fantastic. They're nice and accessible. So we're really excited for that, and we'd love to see more of that through the rest of our downtown.
Can you share with everybody a little bit about the transformation of James Street that's in the plans between Church and King Street? Are you able to
Absolutely.
share with? Because most people, I would say, do not realize this.
Uh-huh.
And this is happening right in front of the
It is.
condo development at 88
is.
James.
Yeah.
It's there and it's happening, correct? You heard it here. It's going to happen.
Sure.
Absolutely. 110%.
Whatever you say.
Yeah. No, but really, like, tell everybody a little bit.
Yes,
Instead of
yeah.
just hearing from me. Share with them about
yeah.
what's happening in that transformation
Yeah.
section.
So the Civic Square on James Street, they're looking, I believe, to pedestrianize that section of the street. They currently just underwent a whole bunch of community consultations with regards to that area, because I'm very grateful the city just doesn't come and dictate what goes there. They thankfully ask for the community what they want. But I believe the feedback overwhelmingly stated pedestrianize the area, give us more public space that we can use, because that is something that is missing in our downtown. We're very lucky to have a big, beautiful park, Montebello Park, just outside our BIA, but we are missing something central, right? And I think that location would be a really good location, because on one side you've got the public library, which is a very popular location, and then you've got City Hall and the market.
On the market.
Like it just makes sense, right?
And all the new
88
people coming down there at 88 James.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's fantastic. So that's a great spot. And what happens is it's a ripple effect.
Mhm.
And I believe that it's a connector from that place to St. Paul.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like a T. You
It
go from Church, you go down, maybe an H. Church Street, Hendriks. Yeah, no. From James, from Church down to St. Paul.
Yeah.
And along St. Paul.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm sure they've kind of thought this all through, and it makes a heck of a lot of sense to me, because
It does.
I'm a thinker, and
Yeah,
it makes total sense.
it does.
And that's where, again, that is going to be another big catalyst of change in
think so.
downtown. That's coming up.
And I think too, with the residential intensification that we're really in need of, the people in those residential buildings will need a garden, so to speak, right? Because in high-rise buildings, you don't typically have a garden that most single-dwelling homes have. So the downtown will be their back garden. So we need those public spaces. We need that beautification. We need the trees that provide the shade. And, so that's why it is so important to make sure that that is on the docket and on the plan, which I'm grateful that it is.
Yeah, and those people that are going to be living, for example, either at Carlisle or over at 88 James, the people that are coming there, that are buying there, they're excited about the changes that are coming downtown.
That's
They
exciting.
can see it. They have the vision of what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And they're some of them, they come, they're like, we're tired of living. There's beautiful places all across St. Catharines. I'm not taking anything away from anybody, but they're kind of looking for a little bit of lifestyle change too.
Absolutely.
And the lifestyle change that some of them are selecting is to be in that downtown and just being able to walk to the store, walk to the, go out to a restaurant and just have it within walking distance.
Absolutely. There's always something to do, right? On our walking tour on the weekend, we had a couple that had just moved to downtown St. Catharines from Niagara on the Lake, and they chose to do so because they wanted to be able to walk to entertainment, to food, to retail, and they really valued that. And they have a younger family too, but they're excited to bring them into that mix. And, I think that's the trend we're seeing.
Yes.
We're seeing a lot of younger families move to St. Catharines, specifically downtown St. Catharines. And if you look at the demographic makeup, downtown St. Catharines actually has a younger median age than the rest of St. Catharines. So that shows that's where that younger group is looking to go.
Absolutely. And for our condo buildings, this is really the freshest new condo building that's our city has seen in decades. And a lot of them are young people as well.
Absolutely.
There's retirees that are coming in and buying, and there's also younger people. And it's a nice mix to see, because most of our condo buildings throughout St. Catharines, almost all of them, 90% plus, are retirees.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to have a mix
Absolutely.
of age,
Yeah.
demographics,
Mm-hmm.
all of that
Absolutely.
is all positive, good stuff. So I know there's people that sit on the negative side of everything, but look over the fence
Yeah.
because there's a lot of good stuff happening in downtown St. Catharines.
There is. Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much, Rachel,
Thank you,
for
Terry.
joining us today. And I wish you much continued success in your job. You're doing amazing for our city. And on behalf of all the citizens, we appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Appreciate your time, and I appreciate you choosing investing in downtown.
No problem. Happy to do so. Catch you next time. Cheers.